Hello, this is me, Tim, from Tim and Jordan on Wrestling, and this time I'm doing WWE Clash of Champions 2016 review, and it's of course Raw pay-per-view, so let's get to it. And start off, obviously, from the first match to the last match. Note, I have not seen the first match, which was a pre-show match, because who cares about the pre-show? No offense, let's get to the show. / pay-per-view, / live event, / whatever the hell this is. Seriously. So the first match of the show, of course, taking place in the pre-show, as I previously noted, was between Nia Jax and, I believe, Ali Fox, and I predicted that Nia Jax would win. She did win, and no idea how the match went down, but I think it was pretty much a squash. So 1-0 already, and just the pre-show, so feeling pretty confident about that. Obviously, one prediction from one. If you want to prove it, go back to my Raw video and you'll see. Next match. Next match is the New Day versus the Club. This match took place as Gallows and Anderson fight early on, beating down the other two. Kingston breaks up a pin and attempts for a boot of doom. Xavier clogs Gallows with Francesca before a minute hour to win. A little bit of a boo there, interestingly enough, as New Day tried this little heel tactic, I guess, they usually don't do. So, I mean, there's kind of a shades of dissent forming in there. I don't know dissent really, but kind of like getting their own back on the club. So I mean, they're kind of turning a bit, but not too much because they're still booty fresh. And I know I just said that, but they're still selling bootios, and that's my policy. If they're still selling bootios, they're still the champions. And of course, they win this match regardless. In questionable circumstances, the New Day retain, and that's my second prediction. I think I got right. So let's move on. Third match of the night, guys, and it is between. Well, it's actually a cruiserweight match, which they did do a nice little touch with because they had a little purple ring ropes going on, and also the little cruiserweight emblem at the bottom. It's a nice purple lighting, so they made it feel nice and special. Kind of felt a bit out of place in pay-per-view to have a sort of different design, but if they're rolling with the whole cruiserweight thing, they're going to keep on blowing this in our face. This is a cruiserweight championship. Oh my god. So enjoy. But let's get right to it. I'm just noticing right now, though, the ropes do look a bit tacky there. You can actually see a bit of red poking out the end of it there, so you can know they just put those on top of the ropes. Actually, I'm just noticing that now, guys. But let's get into this match. The first ever title defense for the Cruiserweight Classic. A nice little package beforehand, which I did watch, very enjoyable. And the match starts off. Kendrick is obviously a veteran, so he's using his experience to bring out the apron and attack him in it. So, yeah, he basically attacked him from there. Later on, wrist hook into a Muda lock on Kendrick by the incredibly versatile TJ Perkins. Another straightjacket followed by a surfboard stretch from TJ Perkins, and then a big Hurricane Rana by Perkins outside. Perkins makes Kendrick submit with a leg wrench bar after a fireman's carry kick. Kendrick goes for a handshake, but then performs a headbutt as he loses the match. A very, I guess, jealous Kendrick after, he worked so hard to get back this opportunity. He's already late 30s, he wants to win or else he'll be over soon, and unfortunately he loses, and this is probably one of his last opportunities, so kind of feel bad for him. But again, TJ Perkins, a grateful and definitely majority more superior, I'd say, in the ring. You could tell from this match. I'd say TJ Perkins going into future endeavors here on Raw, he needs to worry about a lot more competition now, because of course there is a lot of members of that Cruiserweight Classic, and there's going to be a lot of people who want his gold, or in this case, purple, I think. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot in line there, and of course, Perkins is as much a champion as the rest. I think he's probably definitely one of my favorite champions on Raw at the moment, to be honest, and that's not saying much. Yeah, guys. Our next match is the fourth match, I think, on the show, and it is the third match on the main show, and it is the match 7 of the best of 7 series between Sheamus and Cesaro. WTF was this match, because this match was confusing. It started off pretty normal, pretty standard match, a lot more, I guess, evenly paced between the two. Of course, you kind of expect that for the final match in the series. It's going to start off evenly paced. Uppercuts by each man in the match. Cesaro versus a bro kick, hits a giant swing followed by a sharpshooter for rope break. Cesaro kicks out of a bro kick, and Sheamus kicks out of the neutralizer. OMG moment as Sheamus dives into an uppercut, and official stops match after they both go outside and they're both like down on the ground. They're both out, and it's a draw. It's a no contest, I think, is the way it goes. I think they're both just run outside and they got counted out, something like that. Or they also had to be breaking up as well because they wanted to fight each other, but yeah, obviously they got broken up. So a very unexpected ending to the best of 7 series. I mean, obviously said that it was going to easily go Cesaro's way after the match, but everybody was wrong because everyone thought someone was going to win, and no one actually in fact won. That's crazy. So that's the first wrong prediction I've had so far. I've gone 4 from 3, I think. I know 3 from 4. Sorry, my maths is just superb at the moment. So yeah, I guess in that way, unfortunately, I wouldn't recount that because there's no contest. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna retain myself and say it doesn't really count. I'm just gonna go 3 from 3. Let's not count this as a result, guys. But anyways, honestly, I don't know where this is gonna go from them because what do you do now? You just ended off a best of 7 series like this. It's going to lead on to a bigger, better feud. I can tell you from that. Guaranteed this is going to be a long feud now because we know there's a lot of distance between the two. So this is not just going to boil over to one more match. This is going to be a whole pay-per-view thing. So a whole ordeal between the two. So I was kind of expecting something weird to happen because I didn't know which one they put over, to be honest, in this situation. I hoped for Cesaro in my heart of heart. In my brain, I knew probably is not that simple, and yeah, it wasn't that simple. So yeah, some things don't always work out how you thought they would. Next match on the card, and it is between Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn. Match starts off, and Jericho tweaked his knee on the barricade jumping. Zayn suicide dives on Jericho on the outside and crossbodies on Jericho on the inside. Walls of Jericho by Jericho, obviously, a very impressive looking Walls of Jericho as well. Small package reversal by Zayn and a blue thunder bomb to follow. Codebreaker by Jericho for the win at 17 minutes, I think. Don't count me on that. Or less than 17 minutes, like 15 minutes. And he gets a win. Chris Jericho, pretty much, wow, he actually turned it around. Sami Zayn actually pulled out of a very long Walls of Jericho. Thought he was going to get to come back, but you knew something else was going to happen. No, Chris Jericho ended up getting a very clean victory here with that Codebreaker, turning around the unexpected Zayn. Now, honestly, I kind of got the prediction wrong. Obviously, so that brings me to 3 for 4, discounting the last match. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. Yeah, I can tell that Jericho is definitely getting a bit of a pushover here. I don't know why. A push. I'd rather not a pushover, but yeah, I think Zayn definitely going forward. He needs to work on just being better. But yeah, I honestly think this is a pretty fun match. Don't know if it'll lead on to anything else, but I can tell you they're pretty much Jericho's doing nice clean feuds here. This is probably one of the better matches of the night because honestly there's a quality kind of disparity during the show. Some of the earlier matches like the the Sheamus and Cesaro match, for instance, wasn't quite at the standard I thought it would be at. But this match definitely was a good match. So yeah, I gotta give it to it. Good match. Next match on the card, and it is the 5th match of the regular show, 6th match of the actual show. If we're counting obviously the pre-show. I keep having to say that, don't I? It's Bayley versus Charlotte versus Sasha Banks for the Women's Championship. Match starts off, Brooke attacks Bayley and rams her into the barricade outside. Charlotte with a knee submission on Banks' back. Charlotte takes off the tape and Banks with a submission on her on the ring post, for being very clever about how this is done, getting the ultimate pain in this. And after this, Bayley with a crossbody and on the top rope on the 2, and Super Bayley mode activated. Giant double somersault by Charlotte for the close fall. Charlotte singles out Banks, throwing at Bayley, but is turned around into the Banks statement. Charlotte throws back into the barricades, and the match ends as Charlotte kicks both Bayley and Banks with big boots after Dana Brooke gets a bit of experience, and then pins Bayley for the win. Bayley, obviously, Charlotte defends. I did say Bayley, but I sort of regretted that. I kind of changed my decision, and at the last minute, which I didn't say on the Raw, but because I'm fair and because I'm diplomatic, I'm gonna go with the prediction I said on Raw. But that wasn't really my proper prediction, even though in my heart of hearts I obviously wanted her to win. So I'm just gonna stick with that. I'm gonna say I'm 3 for 5 now currently, which is a bit, at least it's above 50%. That's what I'm aiming for. and that's sort of hopeful right now. I'm hopeful. Moving on, guys. Also, yeah, it was a good match. It was a pretty decent match. I could have got a bit longer, but yeah, it's pretty decent what I got. For what we got, and we got a lot more coming after this. I can definitely see a lot more Charlotte and Bayley and Sasha Banks. They never get old, do they? And that's a great feud, to be honest. Bayley, yeah, she's kind of being pushed aside. You can tell from this matchup. She didn't get much ring time, I would say. A lot of it, she was inactive. So, yeah, I don't know what that spells for her, but it's obviously kind of negative, I guess, for her perspective. Next up, what kind of seems like the co-main event in terms of, I don't know. It just does. Don't be distracted by the chair. It is Roman Reigns versus Rusev. No, Roman Reigns does not turn heel here, guys. Like you think. No, he does not. But what happens is the match starts off. They're very dominant early on, throwing Rusev throwing Reigns around like sack of potatoes. What we see here. Roman Reigns comes back with clotheslines in versus the rings and throws Rusev to a barricade and then to the steel steps. We see Roman Reigns back with big blocks and attempts to calculate and gets a spear in Smash, which is pretty cool. Lana gets ejected and Rusev Rusev attempts an accolade before it stopped. And then a spear once again for the 1-2-3 by Reigns. I'm sorry about how cloudy that whole play-by-play of the match was. My voice dictate, which I was using in this match, got some really, really weird results there. So, yeah, it didn't quite work out. I was obviously speaking clear enough. That's nothing new for me. But, yeah, let's talk about this match again. So this was the co-main event of the show. Reigns wins. United States Championship, no surprise. Brings me forward for 6. Which is a little bit better than before, so I'm glad with that. Reigns, again, going over, no big surprise. Again, I am happy in a way to see him take up that United States Championship position, because obviously it's always good to have a strong positioner there. It almost seems like, well, actually no, I think it's a good position for him to be at. I think, obviously John Cena being in that position before, it kind of grounded him a bit and also gave him an opportunity to experience new opponents. So hopefully they'll take the opportunity to maybe give him some new opponents and also just some new, fresh opposition, some maybe younger and more naive talent, I would say, less grown talent, to face him against. It kind of brings me back to when John Cena was, doing the United States Open Challenge, because he took on like newcomers like Sami Zayn, etc. Maybe just introduce sort of maybe new opponents to him. I like to see him, though WWE go creative with this and have a cool approach to it, not just standard feud with Rusev for like 4 pay-per-views. That would be kind of annoying. So let's just not do that. Let's stop that. Anyways, I think the match was alright. I think it was one of the better matches they had together. But honestly, I didn't find it really that entertaining. It's kind of similar, really. Reigns just always comes back at the end and wins the match. It's just, I don't know. I just don't find it absolutely exciting. And Rusev and Rowan are not exactly the best, but at least they tried their best. You can tell they tried their best in this match. So yeah, all the props to them. Next up is our main event, because Seth Rollins takes on Kevin Owens for the WWE Universal Championship. Match starts off, entrances obviously, and then match starts off early, and the bad knee of Rollins is attacked by Owens, because it becomes a focal point of the attack by Kevin Owens, obviously. Owens dives on Rollins after a war attrition, but he ducks and hits the table, leaving Owens splashing into the table. Great moment, actually. Frog splash by Rollins inside the ring, very clean looking, and Jericho distracts, comes out, as I predicted. Jericho arrives and helps Owens. He sort of does make a mug of it, though, because what happens is Rollins proceeds to get a close fall from powerbomb after throwing out Jericho. Pedigree, but Jericho pulls the leg. Then he helps. Yeah, he helps, finally. So, obviously this is Rollins' second pedigree, but of course the official is taken out as Rollins accidentally hits him when Owens throws him into him. And then a new official is brought out by Stephanie as she watches and sees Rollins run back into the ring, gets distracted, and run up to a pop-up powerbomb by Owens for the 1-2-3 victory. Stephanie watches on. She's sort of, I guess, kind of happy. No, she's sort of cunning about it all. She's canonical. She kind of looks on, with a kind of evil look on her face, like, oh yes, I finally did this to her Owens, and just kind of proud of herself in some sick way, because she knows that Owens is her one true champion. I'm going to say OTC. She's backing him. Finally, she's kind of placing her bets there, and also she kind of effed over Rollins here in a way, because yeah, she didn't give him any warning or anything like that. But I guess it's kind of Rollins' fault in a sense. Clever enough booking, I guess, because, you know, Owens is not painted as the black and white bad guy. He's grey. He's not too, like, heel in my opinion. He's kind of, yeah, you can tell from his interviews as well. He's not, like, necessarily, he's kind of, in the interviews, he's kind of, you know, he's Owens. He's not one way or the other. You know, when he's talking with, you know, Stephanie and stuff like that, he says, oh, I am proving that I deserve to be helped by Triple H, and, you know, he's doing that right now, and he's doing it in his matches. So, you know, great way for that match to end, to be honest, and just a perfect victory for the match. So yeah, that was the show, guys. Let's get to my overall opinion. So there, guys, was Clash of Champions. Overall, I got 5 out of 7 predictions right, discounting, of course, Jericho vs. Zayn, because that was a bit meh. And obviously, you know, it was a count out. Oh, sorry, not Jericho vs. Zayn. I'm thinking of Cesaro vs. Sheamus. Anyways, guys, so some parts of the show were a bit like meh. Some matches were a bit weird with weird endings, and also some of the matches were just under par in my opinion. Best moment of the night is probably the I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn versus Jericho. I think that was a really unappreciated match, and I think that really worked for me. But I also liked Owens versus Rollins. I toss up between the two again. I'm gonna be all cheesy. Probably the Owens moment. The one moment in the the whole pay-per-view I liked was where Owens jumped on that table, because it was an OMG moment and it really marked this pay-per-view in my memory. So yeah. Anyways, overall it was a yeah. I'm not gonna say it was actually one for the ages. I would probably give it a solid B in my opinion. I think no more, no less. I don't think it really deserves to be moved around a bit. I mean, that sounds like a bit low or a bit high, depending on your opinion. Obviously, leave your comments below. Obviously, regarding the show. I think, you know, you can say what you want about it, but it's just kind of like a middle of the road pay-per-view, because obviously we're leading up to Hell in a Cell. That's kind of a bigger thing in my opinion. It's going to have more on the line, I think. So I think this sort of is kind of the marker point between our first inaugural, obviously, Raw pay-per-view. I think just for inaugural pay-per-view, I think it's not that bad. Honestly, it's not like a bad way to start at all. So I think in that opinion, in that respective, kind of achieve what they wanted. Overall, that's my review of this one, Clash of Champions. Obviously, leave your opinions if you think any different. Tell me, and if you agree with me, well, also tell me. Like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more of this. Obviously, Jordan is doing his reviews. Obviously, tomorrow I'll be doing my Raw review. Sorry about the delay. Just I was kind of busy this week. I also got a new game this week, so that actually took up a bit of my time. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. See you next time, and bye.